Here for round 1 with Seance Take 2. We've lost the roll to Hot Sauce 834. Well, this is embarrassing. I wonder if I'm ever going to cavern naming Juggernaut. Taking bets. What do you guys think in these 5 matches? Will I get to cavern Juggernaut? I think everything else in my deck is a wizard. I have the white creatures post board that aren't. Marsh Flats. I don't mind too much if I get Thought Seized here, I guess. Alright. Disrupting Shoal. Well, let's go ahead and scour first. So we have the maximum information when we use our Serum Visions. I don't think I'm going to be countering, say, a discard spell. Might have to counter a Relic. The black Eldrazi deck and its variants picked up a lot of popularity online. Yeah, I think I'll just let this resolve. Because I think they take Serum Visions anyway, and I don't want to show them when I'm going to Scour. And if they take Scour, good beats. I was going to say, that deck plays a bunch of Relics and Relic-type effects. So Disrupting Shoal on 1 can actually be pretty good. Though they also have a lot of discards, so I think Disrupting Shoal is, even though it has applications, should be boarded out. Same as in Legacy when you board out Force Well against decks with Hymn to Torok, for example. You can't 2-for-1 yourself multiple times. Or you can't 2-for-1 yourself against a deck that's trying to 2-for-1 you, doing their work for them, you know? Disrupting Shoal, Tune Tapped is an interesting turn. Well, we found another Disrupting Shoal. Can counter a 3 now. I think I am going to use the Serum Visions rather than hold up Disrupting Shoal. For 1, that is. Especially because they didn't follow it up with a discard spell. Draw a land and find 2 more. No, thank you. Play this tapped and pass. We look pretty behind, but if we just draw like a Muldrifter or a Thirst for Knowledge, then we're totally right back in it. That's what's interesting about these style. Oh, it's Abzan. Alright. Liliana of the Veil. I suppose I should counter this. Don't really want to be taxed anymore. Although, plussing it lets me discard the Lab Maniac. No, I think I'm going to need to buy some time. I'm going to have to find some traction, some velocity cards. As I mentioned, Thirst or Muldrifter would both be pretty solid. Jace would be good, but would probably die. Draw step this. Their hand is like 1 threat. I can take the 1 threat. If it's a bunch of removal, I can just leave them. Yeah, 1 threat. That's kind of how Abzan works. So that'll hopefully buy us a lot of time if they don't draw another threat off of the cycle. Dismember is good to note if they don't end up using it on the click. Gonna have to keep that in mind if we try and combo. Looks like they drew another Rhino. Don't know why else they would fetch there. Or not. Dismember, it looks like. Alright. Pretty happy with how that played out. Flooded Strand would actually shuffle 2 lands from the bottom of our library back into our deck. So I don't want to pay a life to unthin my deck. Does not seem optimal. Discard. Yay! Another free card. Happy to pick that up. Although not happy that they have a threat. Ooh, that's a 4-turn clock. Time to find some stuff. That's stuff. That's stuff. They're F6'd. Alright, we need them to miss another turn. Would be very helpful in our cause. $15. They're not F6'd, so they drew something. Lingering Souls. Alright. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ooh, why is it zooming on my other monitor? It's odd. Alright. There we go. I'm actually going to hardcast it. Did not think that that would happen very much with this deck, but here we are. Muldrifter holding off the spirits. Gotta love that. Lab Maniac Leveler. Well, alright then. Three, 6. Alright, so we're mana short next turn of casting them both. I think that's okay. Gonna use Jace to fog this Goyf, since I don't really need the flipped version. Green. Green mana is the least threatening of these 3 colors. You can have all the green mana you want. Green-white is just another Goyf, I guess. Ooh, good thing we're not on the Seance plan this game. So basically need them to miss for 2 turns. Because I need to play Lab Maniac, then play Leveler, then draw. Or I could draw, you know, a cantrip. Though I've gone through quite a few of those already. Liliana's not good enough either. So it has to be spot removal. Or maybe they could go like Rhino and I somehow die. All the pieces are coming together. Maybe we'll just draw Thought Scour and make it real easy on ourselves. How does that sound? That's gonna become my plan A. Just draw a cantrip. Win next turn. Scooz eats the Vandilion. I only have 2 green mana, so they would be taxed. I don't see this game going on much longer. Either we die or we win. I was hoping there would be another discard spell when my hand is Leveler. I've been pretty humorous. It's Abzan colors? What could that be? They wouldn't be tapping the green unless they needed it, so it's a green card of some kind. Decay? Then why'd they tap their planes? This whole game is just me trying to guess what spells they're casting before they cast them. That's what happens when you're playing top deck Magic. At the mercy of the top of your deck. When you have cards like Muldrifter, it's not the worst place to be. Decay, that is the wrong target, my friend. Ooh, that is the wrong target. I can soak up 4 by blocking Skoos here. And then Leveler blocks it the next turn. This saves the most. Don't need to worry about Lily because they played that pre-combat for no reason. And then Leveler protects the Lab Maniac from a top deck Lily. Alright. Fade 1 turn. Juggernaut's here. Best friends forever. BFFs. AE, AE, AE. No removal. Come on, Scoop. I have a 10-10. How could you win? It does kind of stink that I have to show them my whole deck. But small price to pay for winning the game. Yes! Combo-rific. Awesome. All goes according to plan. The spells do not seem great, as a lot of the stuff they're doing is like discard spells and Liliana's and Abrupt Decays, which I can't counter anyway. Disrupting Shoal is also not good against Abrupt Decay or discard spells. I like Teferi. I like Pull from Eternity. I think it's the card that's supposed to come in. Wall of Omens. A couple of Paths for Scavenging Ooze. Glenalendra's not the worst. Again, doesn't do anything against Decay, but gets Liliana and Dismember and discard spells. Late game discard spells are not the biggest concern, though. I like Wall. And a couple of Paths. Let's see, I like all this stuff. I like the Snapcaster. Vendilion is alright. Yeah, we'll go like this. Just thinking about the third path, but I don't think it's necessary. Might be better than the Wall, I guess, but kind of like the Wall just as something proactive that can give me some forward momentum. Again, it's that whole velocity traction deal. Excuse me. It sounds pretty great. Treetop Village, not a concern. Again, I think I want to lead with Scour so that I have the most information for my Serum Visions. Plus, I want to crack this fetch before casting it, theoretically. 0-1 Goyf. Maybe now I don't do anything. So that I can tank a hit from the Goyf. Or save a hit from the Goyf, rather. Let's get Trixie. If they go like fetch land, discard spell here, that's gonna stink. Yeah. Guess I should just path it. I wish that I played my planes, because now I want this extra blue, because I want to be able to like Snapcaster a cantrip or whatever, but it means I took 2 damage for no reason. I wanted to go fetch islands, fetch Hull of Fountain, tap to scour myself, is why I played the fetch, but maybe that was ambitious. Curious what they're going to take here. Tells us a lot about their hand. If they take Seance or Snapcaster. So if they don't have an answer to Seance, they kind of have to take it. But if they do and take Snapcaster, or if they do have an answer to Seance, then they'll probably want to take Snapcaster so that I can't Snap Path and buy myself more time. I think that makes sense. Either way, I'm pretty sure they're not taking Scour, so I'm going to be casting it. Which will give us a lot of information. We'll have 2 more cards in the yard, 2 more cards in hand from the Scour and Draw Step. And then if we Visions, we'll have... Alright, they did take Snapcaster and not Seance. So this is probably just another discard spell, and they're taking both? That would make sense. We got him down to 13. Green mana. No, it's a threat. Scavenging Ooze would also make sense. For them to take Snapcaster. No, it's Goyfs. They must have a disenchant of some kind in hand to have made that decision. Leveler and a land, and then draw land, and draw Leveler. Kind of want to go play Maniac, play Seance, and hope we can win off that. The only reason I wouldn't do that is that they pretty much told us straight up that they have an answer to Seance by taking Snapcaster with that discard spell. Which does make me want to Serum Visions here. That still doesn't really get me anywhere. Like, what can I Serum Visions into that I can then still cast? The 1 wall, the 1 path left, 4 Jaces, and the 6 other cantrips. Also, what am I scrying to look for? I already have the combo and Seance. Yeah. Talk myself into this line. Not super confident about it, because we're under a steep clock, and it's very likely that Seance is no good. But we will see. Should I be blocking here? I don't think so. Nah. It's possible I should have some Gitaxian Probe action going on, so that on turn 5 with a Lab Maniac in play, I can just go level or win. Alright, so they did have the Scavenging Ooze, which is why they played that the way they did. But that's okay, that just means we're playing to Raw Dog combo now, rather than Seance. We have no information on our deck, and we're going to have to crack this fetch anyway, so let's lead with that. Scour and some stuff. Well, since I'm casting Scour anyway, I might as well leave the island on top. So I'm 1 card guaranteed not to mill a creature to help the ooze. Sheldock. Far too little, far too late. I did play my fetch, which I didn't necessarily have to, but I don't think it matters because I'm just dead to 2 attacks. Sucks that I showed them the Pull from Eternity. It's a lot better of a trick when they don't know about it. Definitely going to board in at least a 3rd path. Wall doesn't make any sense on 4th consideration, whereas path is actually probably quite good. I mean, it would have been good this game. Against Scavenging Oozes and Tarmogoyfs. I'd rather have the plow than the wall. This deck probably wants Gitaxian Probe, at least 1. Because seeing what's up can be pretty useful in a lot of matchups. And then a free card draw for these Raw Dog combo spots is actually pretty good as well. Getting decayed here. Treetop Village. Alright, forced to chump. And then drawing dead, I think. They definitely should have pumped once there, so that this was lethal in case I was playing a Wrath or something. Alright, let us try game 3 with another path over the wall. Do I want the 4th? I must say no still. Like, if you start taking out combo pieces or card draw or whatever for more control elements, you're really asking for trouble. You're asking to go long against Abzan, which you don't necessarily want to do. You're not even necessarily able to do, realistically speaking. This hand is really vulnerable to discard. Is the only reason I would think of mulliganing it. The problem is, mulliganing is also not good against discard. So let's keep. Hopefully they go Treetop Village Goyf again, so I can go land, thirst. Rats. Looks like we're getting discarded. Yep. Maybe they'll take Seance. Be scared of the Seance. Maybe they'll misclick and take a Lab Maniac. Might be asking too much. There is a universe where they take the Seance, though. I hope that universe is this one. Also hope we draw a Jason and a land. We're going to have to get pretty lucky to win a game where we keep a hand of vulnerable to discard and then get discarded. Yeah. Wise decision. Go ahead and find a fountain. Jace. I'll take the land, I guess. Though I would have preferred, you know, calciform pools or at least a white source. Okay. Glad they're not playing a threat and instead filling our graveyard. Okay. Maybe I should have played the Glacial Fortress, because if they go Lily plus, I'm going to want... Ooh, Township. Scary Lingering Souls. Choke? Well then. You don't say. Laboratory Maniac Beatdown. Now I really wish I played the Glacial Fortress. Siege Rhino. Discard, discard, choke, Siege Rhino. Well, I guess that explains the turn 2 Inquisition, just to make sure that the choke gets through. Although it doesn't even make sure, it just makes it more sure. The other Thirst is a weirdly good draw. Though I happen to draw my fetches in the wrong order. Because this one just got the Hollowed Fountain, but it could have gotten the Plains. If they don't have more pressure, we'll have just enough time to venture back into it if we hit our lands. Lingering Souls and back it with Township is probably lights out. Yep. GG. I messed that one up, but I don't know if we could have won anyway. Here, let's see what our Thirst would have been. Oh, nope. I guess we don't get to find out. Sorry. Tried to.